sweet friends, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, as you can tell, we are again working in our Silhouette studio. So I wanted to, I don't know, what happened there? I don't know. I wanted to show you guys in more of a condensed, quicker video how I make my weekly kits. I have already made all of my weekly kits for the month of June. Everything is cut. It's all ready to just be laid down. So I'm not going to be making a new kit with you guys. The kit that you see on the screen right now is what I am using for this current week. So today is Tuesday, June 8th. And this is my kit for this week. So this kit I'm using for the 7th through the 13th. You can already see my weekly plan with me. It's up right now. So you can definitely see this kit in action and what it looks like printed out. But what I wanted to do with this video was, one, share kind of my layout and what dimensions I use for everything. And then just kind of give you some tips and tricks on how I make certain stickers. So I will make a few stickers on the screen just to show you guys how I do things, but most of it is pretty straightforward, so most of what you're going to see is just kind of getting the dimensions and just a generic overview of my process. So I hope this is helpful for some of you who use Silhouette. Of course, I used to use a Cricut, so you can go back in some of my older videos and find some Cricut design with me's, but I have changed a lot of what my kits look like since I used the Cricut, so this is more of a up-to-date style video for you guys. So we're going to make 2 sheets. This is our first sheet. I always just kind of call this a sampler because it just has a little bit of everything on it. And then I also make this washi sheet and then some just random appointment labels, or not random, but just some colored appointment labels. Very nice and simple. So that's what you're going to get from this video. So we're going to start with the sampler because that's where I always start. I don't ever remake the entire sticker sheet. I sat down one time and made one sticker sheet with no colors or anything on it. I just laid everything out and got all the dimensions and stuff correct. And then I just add color each week. So I just pull up an old one, copy and paste it to a new slide, and kind of get going from there. The first tip that I want to share with you guys, though, if you work in Silhouette, obviously everything I'm going to show you is going to be Silhouette specific. It's going to be very different if you're doing this on a Cricut. But the first thing that I want to mention is going over here to where you can set up your page. I always turn registration marks on. And you also want to do print bleed. So you have to actually go and check it, and then I dial mine down to 0.025. Oops, it off checked. It does that, so you definitely want to kind of keep an eye on it, but that way it gives the sticker, like the color will print a little bit outside of the box that it's going to cut, so that way you know that you're not going to get any random white line within your sticker, if that makes sense. So it wouldn't look off cut or anything. Either way, you're going to get that color there. So I just do that for kind of insurance purposes, just so that I know that when it cuts, I'm going to have color throughout the entire thing. So that's kind of my first tip. Always turn your registration marks on, though, because that's how you know what your border is, where you can cut at. So if you turn those off, you can see everything kind of goes away. So you definitely want to have those on so you can see where everything needs to be, because if you print anything outside of that, it'll not work out for you. So just kind of quick tips, stuff you probably already knew, but I wanted to share just in case. The other thing that I want to share is how I upload all of my patterns into Silhouette Studio. I almost said Design Space. Still have that Cricut frame of mind. But how I get all my patterns into Silhouette Studio. So what you do is I download all of my patterns usually off of Etsy. I just go onto Etsy. At the top, I look for like rainbow digital paper, or summer digital paper, or whatever holiday it is, digital paper. So I just do that. I find what I want, I buy it, I download it, and then I will put it into this little Silhouette flash drive. So this is where I keep everything I do. Each month you can see I have a month folder, and then I have one for that month with the designs. So I put every design in here. So you can see I have a Memorial Day week, summer week, I have my monthly designs here. So what you'll do is once you get it organized however you want it on your computer, you can just click, you'll copy and paste those, and then you're going to come, let me get rid of that. You're going to come up here to Library, and then all you have to do is paste it. And you can see I've already done mine. There's several that I've used. So there's the one that I was just showing you, that kind of vacation-y paper that I use for my June monthly. Or you can just drag and drop. So if you highlight all of it, you can drag it over to Silhouette Studio and just drop it on this page, and it will add it in for you. So it's very simple. I don't really remember how I did it on the Cricut, but I feel like this was more simple than that. And it works a lot better on the Silhouette. That's one of the reasons I changed to Silhouette, is because there was just more options for me. And I feel like things work a lot better on Silhouette Studio than they did in the Design Space for Cricut. So that's just kind of an overview of how I get things in here. So moving on to just the sampler sheet itself, you can tell that I have just a random piece of washi over here. Basically, that is there just to fill space. I do end up using that every week, but it's just there to kind of fill that space on the edge. So my dimension for this washi, I always do my washi with a width of 0.5, so that's half an inch wide, and then the height just depends on how big you make your sticker paper. For this piece of sticker paper, the height of this washi is 7.558, and that was not determined by any measuring. I just kind of dragged it until it filled that little space on the page. So this sticker paper that I'm showing you, or this sheet that it's going to cut, is 8.325 inches long and then 5.5 inches wide. That's typically what I do for all of mine, except for my small ones. I will show those in just a second as well. But any sampler or any big monthly sheet is always going to be this size. That will fit perfectly into the small sheet protectors that you can put in those smaller binders. So that's how I keep up with all my stuff, and that works perfectly for that. So just wanted to kind of share that with you guys. So up here I have my weekend sticker. That's actually the first thing I'm going to show you how to make. So I'm going to come over here to the side in this little gray space. I'm going to click this little A, and you can see it pulled up some text stuff at the top. I'm going to change this to Magnolia. This is a font that I downloaded off Etsy. I can have it linked in the description box for you, or you can just go to Etsy and type in Magnolia font, or any other like script font, whatever you like. And then I just type out weekend. You can see it kind of come up in this outlined red thing. I'm going to highlight it, change the color to whatever I wanted the color to be. So I'm just going to pick this little bubblegum pink color just because it's cute. And then you also want to get rid of that red outline. So I just do this so it gives it no outline. So there you have your weekend sticker typed out. I'm going to choose it, and then I'm going to come over here to this little star on the right side that says open the offset panel. It's also up here at the top, so either way it's going to open the same thing for you. With this weekend word highlighted, I'm going to hit offset, and it'll create that line around it. Now that line around it, I want it to have a white background, and then I want to put a black line around it, just because anything in black will be my Kiss Cut sticker. So if it has that black line around it, that means that the Silhouette, when I go to cut everything, will cut just that sticker. It won't cut all the way through the paper. If it has the red line around it, like the entire sticker sheet does, I have that set to where it will cut through the entire paper and not just cut out a sticker. So that's kind of what that means for me. But you can see that that's what it changed to here. So white background, black outline, or whatever outline you choose. You can really do any color. It doesn't really matter. I just use red and black because that's simple and easy for me to remember. So then I'm going to come over here, and you can kind of dial the distance from the letters that the white goes up or down. So if you want it to be a thicker sticker, you can go up, you can go down. I usually go down because I like mine to be pretty thin. So I went with this one to 0.08. Of course, it's just kind of up to you. So that's what you get here. Now you can see that it has this little box right here where my pointer is. So how I fix that is double click on top of that little empty spot, and you'll see it brings up all these little points. So you just click on one that's in there and then come over here and hit delete until it gets rid of all of those. So now it's gone. It's not going to cut a hole there or anything. Then you can just grab all of it and come up here and group it together. So now you have your weekend sticker ready to cut, and then you can just size it up or down to whatever you like. The size that I use over here is a width of 1.766 and a height of 0.624. Now, of course, you can make that bigger. I do that just so it fits perfectly on top of the washi that I put over my weekend thing. So that's just kind of how I create my weekend banner. But of course, up up to you on how you want that to look. So that's the first thing that I make is those stickers. So I figured that's what I would share first. Now these other little script stickers, I'm going to share those as well right now. So let's just pretend that we're making a to-do sticker. So I'm going to come over here again, grab my text box. I'm going to change this to the FB Basic Betty. That kind of gives me that Rae Dunn feel, and I really like it. It has that long, skinny lettering. Of course, you could use whatever you wanted to do, but I see that the longer, skinnier lettering works the best for making these kind of script stickers. So I type out what I want it to say. Again, I'm going to highlight it and change it to what color I want it to be. I always do those as black no matter what the week is, and then I don't want that one to have an outline. So we get it to this. We have our to-do. Now, sometimes when you go to put your offset on, the words will be too far apart. So what I'm going to do for to-do is make them closer together. So how you do that is you select your word, and then you come up here and ungroup. So now it has each individual letter. So I'm going to take each letter and I'm going to move it a little bit closer to the letter beside it. And then I'm going to choose the word do and move it just a little bit closer to the word to. So now you can see they're a little more squished together, but that will help it in the long run work out how you want it to work out. So now that I have that done, I'm going to size this down first before I put an offset on it. That works the best for me. If there's another way to do it, then you do your way. But how I do that is I just select it. I come up here and lock the proportion so that it doesn't change funky. And then I'm just going to change the height to 0.17. So then that makes it get a little bit skinnier. You can see that made it tinier, so that way it'll fit on top of a sticker better or fit on a line better. Obviously, you don't want it too big. But then what I do is just grab it, and I'm going to come over here and create that offset. I'm going to do my offset the exact same way, so I'm going to give it a background of white with a black outline. Now this one, obviously the offset currently is way too big. So what I'm going to do is my distance, I'm going to bring it down to 0.040. And you can see that made it a lot skinnier. And then that made the height right at 0.25, which is what you want. You want that height to be right at 0.25, so that worked out perfectly. So now what we'll do is we'll just select it, group it together, and now you can see you have one thing. I can see that it made it 0.251, so all I have to do is go in there and take off the 1. And now it's 0.250. So that is how I make those stickers over there. Just kind of for reference, you do them all the same way, or at least I did, and that's what worked for best for me. So, moving on, these right here, the dimensions for those are 1.5 wide, so that longer portion, and then they're 0.25 in height. All of my skinnier appointment labels are that exact dimension, so all of them are 0.25 in height and 1.5 wide. Any of my stickers you see are going to be 1.5 wide. Any of the appointment labels or these cuter little labels over here. The difference is how thick they are. So these little guys fit perfectly in a 30-minute block. If you're using an Erin Condren Life Planner, I have an hourly, so that's kind of what I make things for. But those fit perfectly in the 30-minute block, and then these will fit for an hour. So, and you can see that these are the same as those. So the dimensions on this is still 1.5 wide, but these are 1/2 inch thick or in height. So that kind of just changes that a little bit. Down here, this will be changing soon. This was currently used to cover up the top left corner in your weekly spreads. Right now, the dimension is 1.5 wide again, using that for pretty much everything, and then 1.75 in height. Now, I'm going to have to figure out something different to do in the new planners because of the way it's laid out, so that's kind of changing if you bought the new planner. But if you're making stickers for an older Life Planner or for one that runs all the way through December, then you can still use those dimensions and it will cover up the little calendar in the top left corner perfectly. Now, I've gotten a lot of questions about my check boxes. Those are very simple to make. All I did is, I'm actually just going to drag one over here so I can show you. You can see it a little bit better. So all I do is I create a white box behind the sticker that is 1.5 inches tall and 1/4 inch wide. So you can see that there. I did that by just coming over here, grabbing a regular rectangular box, draw it out, and then come up here and give it a white inside and a black outline. And then all you have to do is change the dimensions to be what you want them to be. I can't remember what I just said. What did I do for this one? 0.25 and 1.5. So we'll change this one to 0.25 and we'll change this to 1.5. And there you have your outline on the back. Now each one of these little boxes on the inside are just created the exact same way. I just take a box. So I'll show you how I did this, because this one actually can be a little bit tricky, just depending. So I create a little box. I give it a black inside with no outline. And you can see that I did that at a 0.2 width and height because I want it to be a perfect square. So let's just take this one down. So 0.2 all the way around. So now it's a perfect little square. And then I put a white box on top of it. I'm going to move this one just so you can see. Let's kind of zoom in a little bit so we can see what we're doing. Just a little bit better. So once you have this done, I put this over here. I kind of line it up. It'll tell you when you're right in the center of it. And then I created another little box. And this little box I filled with white, still no outline. And then I'm going to make it just slightly, oh, I need to open that up, slightly smaller than the black box. We'll see if that worked. I can't remember exactly what I used. No, I gotta go smaller than that. Let's take it down like this. Perfect. So then there you see, I did that one at 0.157. It's a perfect square, so it's the same width and height. And there you have a little checkbox. So obviously the black is a little bit thicker, so you could make the black thicker or thinner by just making the white box bigger or smaller, depending on what you like. And then once I have them made, all you would do is group them together. And now that's going to move as one whole box. And then all you have to do is, what is that? I was trying to copy and paste this. So you'll copy and paste, and then you can move them down the line. Just make sure that each time they stay centered with your thing. Like you don't want one to kind of be over here and one to be over here. You know, you want to keep it nice and in the center. No, I'm not going to be able to do that. And then you just keep going down. I think each one of these has, let's see. Let's put this back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 blocks on each one. So I just needed 2 more down here. And then I just kind of rearrange them so that I can make all of them fit. And then that will fit perfectly in your life planner to give you some space to do a check mark. So once you get them all on there, you can grab all of them, all the little boxes, and come up here to where it gives you these little boxes or these little line options, and you can space it out vertically, so then that'll give it even spacing in between each one. That's kind of how I did mine. Obviously I have them made down there, so then once you make it once, you don't have to make it again, which is the great part of saving your work. So we're going to get rid of that one. I'm going to zoom us back out and put this guy back down here. Whoa, no. We don't want that to happen. We're going to group him back together first, and then we're going to move him back to his home down here. Okay, so that is pretty much how I make those little check boxes. These stickers I have gotten some questions on, so I'm going to walk you through those really quick, and that'll pretty much be it for this sticker sheet. So when I make these, I made an outline of a box. I used, instead of using a regular rectangular box, I used the one with the rounded edges to kind of give it that rounded look. That's how I did all of these. So I make one, I give it that black outline, and then I fill it with a pattern. So you just come over here to fill, choose your pattern, whatever you want it to be, and then I put a smaller box on top of it. Let's just go ahead and undo these so I can show you. So I put this smaller little white box on top. Why is it not? Okay, it is. So the smaller little yellow blocks is on top of it. I picked my color I want it to be, and then I give it a transparency so that it's kind of see-through. My transparency is set to 12%, so that works perfectly for you to be able to kind of see through it a little bit, but still have enough opaqueness to be able to write on and see what you write. So that's kind of how I do all of those, and then I just group them together. Again, the bigger square on the outside is that 1.5 width by 1/2 inch tall. That fits perfectly in the hour boxes. The little one on the inside is sized down just a little bit. So the width of it is 1.303 and the height is 0.399. So that's kind of how I do those. This bigger one I made specifically for church because our church goes from 10 to 12. It's 2 hours. That's a 2-hour block here. The width on it is 1.5 again, and then the height on this one is 1 inch. So that one covers the 2-hour block. So that's how I made pretty much everything that you see here. Obviously, these little things are pretty straightforward. You just pick your font, type out your letter. I don't put an offset on these. I just created little white boxes with a black outline and then drug the letter or the number to be centered in it. So that one's pretty easy to figure out, and then those fit over here. But let's move on to the next sheet. So this one will go a lot quicker because it's a lot simpler to make. These two sheets have, let's see if I can outline it. The width of them are 6.75. The height just depends on what is on it. So on these little ones for appointment labels, I have the height set at 2.833 because that's all I needed it to be. This one, of course, is a little bit taller or bigger. It's 4.066 because it has a little more on it. So my thin washi, I always do at a thickness of 0.25 or a width of 0.25. So that's what all of these up here are. My length just depends on how big you make the sticker sheet. So the length or the height that I did for these, you can see up here it's measured as height, but how long it is or whatever is 6.4. You could go a little bit bigger to fill up this white space on the side, or if you make your sticker sheet a different dimension than what I use, obviously that can be a little bit different. Now these two are made to cover up that colored box at the bottom of an Erin Condren Hourly Life Planner, the current ones at least. It covers up that last little hour section at the bottom that's not labeled with a time. If you have an hourly, you know what I'm talking about. I'm sure if you don't, then this won't apply to you anyways. But I use the same dimensions as I do for my headers at the top. So the longer one is 6.5 wide by 1/2 inch tall, and the shorter one is 4.875 wide by 1/2 inch tall. And then I just fill them with whatever pattern I want all of those to be filled with. These are the same dimensions as the ones on the sampler sheet. So my skinny ones are the 30-minute blocks. They are 1/4 inch tall, and then these are 1/2 inch tall for the hour box. So I think that's pretty much an overview of how I made everything for the weekly kits. Once we get moved into the new planner, I will do an updated version of all of my Design With Me's most likely once I get the new dimensions right and kind of figure out what I want those to look like. But that might not come until like August or September whenever I really get a good feel for what I'm doing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any other questions or something I didn't answer in the video, definitely leave it in the comments below and I will try my best to answer it for you. If you have any tips or tricks on how you make your own stickers using Silhouette or Cricut, let me know in the description box. I'm sure other people would love to hear any tips or tricks they can get, as I know that I would. Anything that makes it a little bit easier is always nice. Make sure that you like and subscribe to my channel so that you can stick around for all the Design With Me's and Plan With Me's and everything to come, and I will catch you guys in the next one. All right, bye guys.